Болеем, пойдем. Вставайте, пока что.
It is Championship Sunday here for the We Play Ultimate Fighting League. I'm your host, James Banks, and today we crown the first ever champion. This is the start of something great for the FGC. This is something that starts with a lot of history that is going to be played out here. And my, oh my, you guys are in for a treat. We have 8 of the best players in Mortal Kombat fighting it out. Some came through the groups and surprised. Others, they know their place, but can they get the big win here today? We're about to find out. So let's get it on.
Yeah, going for it right here, but has to block that jumping just really plus on the way down as well. Tries to whip punish and caught by the mid. Oh, that really I'll come right back at ya. You better hope I don't catch ya. Cause when I do, I'm gonna smash ya.
Here's the regular flying kick, amplify it, and protect.
Oh, there we go. It's a match one.
not very much that anyone can do.
And you should be scared to face me. You know you can't prepare. You couldn't take me out when I was down on my luck. Now I got too much power in every ounce of my blood.
And for it being explosive, as we were seeing. Yeah, mid-screen, 1-2-4.
Celebrate like you won the war. Guess you forgot what I'm fighting for. I'll come right back at ya.
Oh my goodness. The Ticketmaster is staying in the air. He is not a ground-based player anymore.
Now I'm out for blood.
Oh, he delayed it! Down, down. Oh, that was a very, very good decision from Dragon right there, catching out for him.
Now, if that doesn't get you hyped for today, I don't know what will. And two men that have been alongside me this entire week, dealing with all the hype, dealing with all the craziness, shouting and screaming with me, is Aquaman, it's Big D. And today, we get to see who's going to be able to lift that championship belt.
That's right, this is Playoff Sunday, baby. There have been two grueling brackets to get here through the group stages. It's been incredible. We got 8 players on deck for you, $50,000 on the line here in our very first kind of, season here for We Play. I'm incredibly excited, Big D.
After those group stages, it was nice to see everyone take a step back, have a little bit of laughs and stuff yesterday. For those that were tuning in to our stream yesterday with the 2v2 tournament, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, a lot of roasting.
Yeah.
But those vibes are gone.
Those days are gone.
Everyone in that back player lounge was completely quiet because they know what's on stake here for this evening.
And talking about what's on stake here, right, we got to have a quick recap back and look at Group B, because Group B, everything was on the line, right? We're looking at the 1xBet recap here. And when it comes to Group B, favorite of the past day. Well, okay, that makes sense because Tekken Master, he was the champion at the Dragon Temple. This man can put up some numbers. And we're not really surprised anymore. Azerbaijan, he definitely is the underdog, but he's proved that he can hang.
It's literally the success story in the making with Azerbaijan, right? Last minute stand-in, made it out here, got everything. No practice really on his end. He came out here a little bit, not really that confident as we would normally expect him, because he did have a very nice showing at the Dragon Temple a few months back. And now here we are in the playoffs. Granted, very close call, but he did happen to make it. And then, of course, the defeat of the day. Anytime Gert loses, it's rough.
It hurts for all of us, honestly.
It really
Gert's just one of those lovable people, but Azerbaijan stealing a lot of people's hearts. You see there on Twitter after the big victory, getting in one of the biggest pop-offs we've seen in this arena, and we've already seen quite a lot already.
Ooh, and the most popular match. Mr. Azerbaijan's in there as well. He goes going up against Dragon in that one. And to be fair, that was a spicy game because
I actually agree
it looked like Azerbaijan was going to be able to take it in a big way.
Yeah, this is what, all of our eyes shifted in that group from what's going on to Azerbaijan and can he do it, right? That was that big story. Then over the course of, there's 3 matches in a row that changed the course of that entire group.
Yeah, that's how the standings all got mixed up. And then with that match especially, it was interesting to see on both sides. Azerbaijan was up 2-0 on Dragon, and it wasn't like a close 2-0. That was quick. That was super explosive. But then it was nice to see the adaptation from Dragon, which we know he's one of the best in the business with doing that, being able to reverse sweep, putting Azerbaijan in a tough spot. But ultimately, obviously, Azerbaijan's here tonight.
Now, when it comes to this, though, right, we're talking about Azerbaijan here. He's in this top 8 placing, but how far do you think he can go with this now, right? Because you see the hype, what it means to him is all one thing, but now, can he continue to make this story run?
I think that's what it's going to come down to, is that during those group stages, Azerbaijan was someone with nothing to lose.
Yes.
Now there's something to lose. It's called a lot more money with every victory here today. So is that going to play a part in, is that going to make him play maybe not as freely as we saw in those group stages, because he was playing Mortal Kombat.
So I talked to him a little bit after he made it into the playoffs. I know this happens with a lot of players, right? When they have very low expectations, I was a big culprit of this as well. When they make it to the playoffs, they feel like they got everything they wanted. And sometimes he kind of lose focus. You know what I mean? And I told him not to do that because of the way we saw him play, he can make it really far in this tournament. Now, He's very happy. We saw him yesterday. It was just a wholesome moment. He's just really happy to be here
just
in
really
general.
happy.
But I'm telling him, don't let up because he has the potential to really go far here tonight.
He really does. And I want to look in a little bit more detail at some of these players because we put together some of these hexagons for everyone to look at and see exactly how we've been rating some of these players across the tournament so far. Now, starting with
goodness.
Sonic Fox. Now, look at this. This doesn't surprise us, really. The list of accomplishments, they're huge anyway, but he doesn't seem to be really missing much.
I don't know about you guys, but when I'm at a character select screen for any video game of all time and I see that kind of spread at a stat screen, I'm picking that character.
Main right there,
That's my main right there. Sonic Fox coming in with the cream of the crop as far as these stats, because you look at Sonic Fox, you look at the play over the course of almost a decade, and it's been this the entire time.
Yeah, no one's really surprised to see that sort of hexagon.
Are they even human? That's what you should be asking yourself when looking at that.
Yeah, that's not human scorelines at all. But we've got a bit more of a human scoreline coming in here for Rewind. Good list of accomplishments himself still, but again, he's not going to be as filled out as what Sonic Fox is.
And look at that, the list of accomplishments kind of telling you everything you need to know about consistency. You know, 10th at Evo, 5th at Final Combat. But before Celtic Throwdown, it was a lot of ups and downs, and then a massive victory over Sonic Fox at Celtic Throwdown, which was huge, shook everything up. But again, it's been the consistency for him, but it's been looking stellar here at WePlay.
Now, this is the man everyone has been sleeping on.
Yes.
But look, this is a more telling sign because the untrained eye, they might not notice how good Arn Kratos is.
And that's why we kind of had this little bit of gap there towards the experience, right? So he hasn't really been having a ton of offline experience, but that's where the consistency comes
when
in
he shows
so
up.
full, because when he shows up, he's dominant.
Says it all right there. Clutch factor, the raw fatal blows. I mean, everything's there for him. I keep going back to that after we saw the highlights for Arn Kratos. And then here comes Azerbaijan. Absolutely agreeing with this, where we just don't have a lot of information coming into this, and what we've seen, you know, the consistency, the ups and downs, and more importantly, the clutch factor not being incredibly high, because even though he can be incredibly clutch, the times he was up 2-0 and let it go, that's where we saw the
like with Dragon that we mentioned earlier, that's the only reason the clutch factor really is a little bit lower than it would have normally
and the
been. Same thing with experience. We mentioned earlier he had a lot of issues being able to compete online, then especially offline as well. So the experience for an offline tournament is not nearly as there and not nearly as filled as it is with some of these other players.
Yeah, Azerbaijan looking really good coming into this. Going to be going up against Arn Kratos, actually, as that very first match. An incoming Tekken master. The versatility, plays the entire roster at the highest level, trains with everyone that plays everyone at the highest level. I don't think you can ask for more right there.
Yeah.
Execution, one of the crisps I've ever seen of all time, looking like a machine out there.
Well, you know what it is, too, with versatility? It's not necessarily just the characters as well. It actually has to do with his playstyles, being able to go from aggressive to defensive and switch back and forth. That playstyle alone, to master it like that, is incredibly hard to do.
Yeah, and you saw clutch factors a little bit down because Tekken Master has, throughout history, been incredibly close to the big victory, but just not quite there. You know, a couple of people in the way are going to be here in this bracket.
And then here, looking at versatility for Conqueror, the reason why I didn't give him a lot more versatility is because when it comes to Conqueror's playstyle, he plays neutral extremely well, but he's not nearly as aggressive as sometimes he needs to be. You know what I mean? And then looking at the
character selection as far as versatility, you know, coming in here primarily with Sub-Zero, only Sub-Zero. We talked to him in the 2v2, making a joke that I don't really play anyone else, even though that's a little bit of a cap.
Right.
But we know what that Sub-Zero is capable of. But when the Sub-Zero doesn't work, what's going to happen?
See, now, this one is interesting to me. The execution, normally I would have this higher, but from what we saw in groups, he was dropping a lot. And you guys have to understand that this is not just for someone's entire career. We're talking about for just this weekend, for what we've been seeing outside of the placements, of course. So that's really why the execution's a little bit low, which we will admit is very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where, you know, he specifically did about 4 things in a row and tried the same exact combo path and dropped it 4 times in a row.
With Shiva, exactly.
It was the 4-3 off of the marching stance, if I remember correctly.
I think it actually was 4 times in a row he dropped that. So
which is incredibly tight, but, you know, something that we don't expect at this level for Foxy to be dropping. And Dragon, consistency. If Dragon's in a bracket and not within the top 5, more specifically, I'd say top 3, it's a surprise to me.
And then looking at the clutch, being able to do reverse sweeps is outstanding, but at the same time, it can always be a little bit better. Resource management, I think that should have been a little bit higher. I think he's very good with his resource management, but at the same time, he was getting clipped with a couple armor breakers when he probably thought about not using the defensive meter to stay away from that, and then still ended up using it.
We look at Dragon, and I would say this characterizes him incredibly well.
Yeah.
Very
Now,
high
guys, you got to
as far as
stop
numbers.
talking because I've got
Whoa,
more
all
important
right.
business right down here to do. It's time for us to get things started. I appreciate you breaking it all down. I
We'll go all
appreciate
day,
hearing from these guys. You can go all day, but it's time for me to go a little bit longer because it's time for us to bring on our first players. It's the opening matchup. It's Sonic Fox taking on Rewind, but let's learn a little bit more about the journey Sonic Fox has taken here.
My name is Dominic McLean, also known as Sonic Fox, and I'm considered one of the best fighting game players in the world.
I crawled up the gutter, I rose to the top. My reign everlasting, I can't be stopped. I was made for the throne.
Just try to play as many fighting games as I possibly can, try to stand up for being myself, being who I am. I don't think I have very much weaknesses. My strongest suit is the way I'm able to control my opponent.
Yeah, going for it right here, but has to block that jumping just really plus on the way down as well.
See, just kind of waiting there. The delay right in.
And so currently, offline, my lowest placing out of all the tournaments I've ever competed at is second place.
And Sonic Fox's opponent, he's fought hard to get here, but this could be his toughest test yet. It's Rewind, so let's find out what he's got to say.
I'm a 20-year-old young guy from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm gonna microduck OS, I'm gonna hold up, and if y'all don't stop it, I'm gonna run through you. I can switch up between very conservative and solid to very random, but then I can become solid, and that's my play style. I usually rock Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Jackie Briggs. Those are the main three for the most part.
Oh, that's gonna be it. The forward. The classic with a K. Right?
Rewind has been a surgeon with that ball.
I expect this to be one of the hardest tournaments I've probably played in, because it's not like you got to go through pools, play the weak players, and get to like the pretty good players and the top players. It's just you're thrown into it and you're already trying very hard because everybody's already good. Most of my reads, if I'm wrong, can kill me. I can lose from it, but if I'm right, then I win.
Our first game is ready. It's just around the corner. And I'm going to start with you, Rewind. You ever scared going up against a man like Sonic Fox?
No, I play him so many times. This occasion has came up to me so many times. I'm just ready to play.
So easy match for you?
No, never easy.
At least he's honest. Now, Sonic, you are the champ, right? You are the man who's supposed to be here to deal all the damage. But you ever worried about going down early?
Of course, everybody who's a competitor is always worried about going down early, but it's no threat to me. Rewind's one of my best friends and a training partner to me, and so we kind of know each other in and out, so I expect you guys to see some of the best MK you've ever seen in your life right now.
Woo! High praise. We'll go and take your positions, guys. Get yourself into spot. It's time for us to get into the game. Let's get back with Roman over and catch up for the game one.
So many different storylines we've had across. Normally I'm used to saying this weekend, but this has been a week-long thing, whether it's preparation, media, the fact that it's been 4 days of tournament action, and 2 players that have a rich history, Roman over, not just in MK11, but Injustice 2, MKX, and the later stages as well. There's a lot to go over here.
So much to go over, and Rewind has always been one of those players where once Rewind came into the scene, we have seen that growth, and at one point, Rewind was the young blood, still kind of is, but, you know, Sonic has been there, and Rewind's definitely the person to go head-to-head with Sonic Fox.
It's funny you should mention it, though, because one of the biggest tournaments that Rewind has ever had, Celtic Throwdown, which was in the first season of pro competition. Liu Kang was the pick there, and I know that was where Rewind was able to get, like, I think the first really big result and had to go through Sonic Fox to do it in the first place. So that was, I think, the beginnings of the next layer that he was able to achieve. But this tournament is going to be a completely different story. And it's like Rewind said himself in that little intro video where normally at a conventional event, you've got to get through the big groups first where there's everyone and anyone, and then you kind of work your way up the ladder. This was the top of the ladder straight away. So it's been a punishing tournament for everyone involved.
Yeah, and it's always seems like this because we've had, you know, most of the majors that we have, a lot of the big ones tend to be in America. So right off the bat, we're getting 2 of the best American players going head-to-head. And one is going to end up in the loser's bracket after this. It's pretty crazy, but, you know, I am ready to see what character picks we are going to get here. You know, with Rewind, Johnny, or we could go Kang Gang.
I feel like Johnny Cage is going to be the pick here when we're looking at these characters. And bear in mind, everyone at home, some of these characters on the stats do look a little bit unusual. That's because of the different characters everyone used in the Pocket Clash yesterday, which was a 2v2 tournament where you couldn't use your main or secondary. So those stats, they've been kind of filled out by other characters that they've been able to play the board with.
Yeah.
Fox definitely be one of those players. I think they used RoboCop in the later stages, and we saw Jax, which was promised Terminator as well. And it's been all over the place. But this, prediction-wise, it's really hard not to bet on Sonic Fox. They have the consistency over everyone else. Current world champion, but if anyone can beat them right now, Rewind has a good chance.
I agree 100%. And you're right, Sonic Fox, they are that person to most likely take the victory here, you know, compared to like what everyone's been talking about. But I don't know. I'm not going to count Rewind out at all right now after the performance that we've seen this weekend.
The reality of a tournament is you are only as good as your last tournament in this punishing world of competitive fighting games. The 1v1 nature, being consistent when there are this much talented players is crazy difficult in the first place. But hey, look, when you have a day like this, you could just be on fire. You could be playing the greatest MK11 you've ever played, and it doesn't matter who's in your path, you'll be able to take that first place spot. So Fox is the favorite of this tournament, but it's not guaranteed. Not by a long shot. This is just game one. We have lots of other players lined up that we'll go into later. We're looking at the characters here. There is going to be a bit of a decision to make because it's going to come down to the custom variations. For those that might have been out of the loop, MK11 Ultimate gives you custom variations as an option. So you can pick and choose the moves that you want, and it goes in with a little bit more strategy. So here we go, game one. The top 8 here at We Play Fighting League. Fox versus Rewind.
And we got some Joker and some Johnny Cage.
For a company move back to your universe.
Worry that I'll steal the show?
That you'll dice me into bite-sized pieces.
I think there's a likelihood of both of those things, to be honest, with Johnny Cage. As we now start this first round, 2 characters that are incredibly footsie heavy, and already the minor delay. Fox looking to crouch that advancing high. You've got to watch out pressing those buttons, but there's the forward 2. Hit confirm into Kapow. That launcher is so good.
Yeah, and we're going to get some corner positioning almost, but Rewind trying to take the advantage. Great tech on that throw right there. Trying to inch way in. You know, a lot of respect you'll see in neutral from these players as well, if you'll notice this throughout the set, folks.
That down 4 for Cage is so important. Joker has a lot of good advancing buttons, but that forward one, doesn't quite get it with punish. And hang on a minute, it's the camera this time. That is not a move that we're used to seeing Cage use too much in Ultimate, so I'm curious to see how that's going to work out for Rewind. Being able to confirm and get out the corner against Joker, that's going to be a big deal, you know.
Oh, short hop. Yeah, that couldn't have been right, but I don't think we've seen the camera at all this weekend. Great tech again on that throw. All right, amplified the fireball. Okay.
This is a critical moment in round one here for Rewind. Has to pretty much do the perfect thing. Cancels. But the whiff jump in, the turn stealing down one really was all he was going to be able to do, but can't challenge that down four immediately. As Fox taking that first round, but it's calm and collected. And that's how this matchup goes at this level of play. So button heavy.
That down four sweep so good.
With punish. Say cheese.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've seen the camera used all weekend, so it's really nice to kind of, you know, see a little bit of a different variation going on.
It just comes down to the utility that you're looking for. A whole bunch of that damage becomes unbreakable at the start. That down four, it is a key button in this matchup. It goes so far. Lovely grab though. Now Rewind, he got escape fail, but it doesn't really matter with Cage. Oh no! No, we're punished for you, Fred!
And the camera flash amplified. Gonna go into the corner.
Oh, the punish!
Oh.
I told you. Don't count out Rewind under any circumstances. He's able to bring that today. Whiff punish looks for it again, but not quite. Flawless block. That was so close for whiff punish, in fact. Oh, the
down one. Oh, the jump in was going to be great for Rewind there.
Goes in for the less obvious throw direction, throwing Fox out of the corner, but as long as he get one hit, using the camera is going to let Cage get out of the corner regardless of whether you break or not. Flip kick.
Nice to see the flip kick. All right, we get the throw again? The forward throw?
The grabs have been absolutely on point. You're not used to seeing Sonic Fox, of all players, get grabbed this much. We have to watch out. The double dash into a grab of their own.
Yeah,
here we go.
Speaking of grabs, this is going to be great positioning for Sonic Fox. But that confirmed from Rewind. And the jump in.
But again, using a jump in punch. I don't want you to break, but there's the counter hit.
Crushing blow. Okay, great use of defensive meter there from Rewind.
This is a really scary moment.
Oh, that's rough.
This is a full combo, and the fatal blow is probably going to still be on cooldown. Don't get grabbed!
Whoa, down two! That's going to close it out. Game one, Rewind.
That was a scary situation, Roman over, and I'll tell you why. You cancel Joker's fatal blow, and it's on cooldown. He gets access to his forward throw KB, which is 30% damage. The fact that you've got Kapow means you can confirm into a combo first, keep the fatal blow, and that was going to be a button or grab situation. That's why Rewind wasted no time just uppercutting right there, because if there was a grab, boom, down two, and the game is mine.
Yeah, Rewind so far really on point with a lot of these reads.
Starting off strong, this projectile game. Johnny Cage, the regular force balls, no slouch by any means.
Ooh, didn't quite hit confirm there. Down one poke.
That advancing high has been a real thorn in Sonic Fox's side so far, and I'm really liking it. By the time you can break, you've taken over 20% damage. The camera has been such a useful tool in this matchup. The duck.
Yeah, great duck there from Sonic Fox. And now they're on the advance.
Reversal punish. Let's go.
Reversal with the kick.
That should be another confirmed. Kapow.
Joker just takes you all the way across the screen.
It's funny you should mention it. It's the corner carry that makes Kapow so insanely strong. Oh, that was an attempt. However, Fox caught again. The 1-2-1 shadow kick. Johnny Cage not messing around and Rewind gets another round on the board.
Dashes back and goes right into Fireball. What a smart move.
It feels like in this neutral game, something that Joker is so good at dominating and almost owning in a lot of these matchups, somehow Rewind